Hello, my name is Peter. I'm the minister of St Mark's Unitarian Church in Edinburgh. I'd like to share a few thoughts on prayer. To begin, these words by a writer called Larry Dossey. A friend of mine was dying from lung cancer. The day before his death, I sat at his bedside with his wife and children. I knew he had little time left, and he chose his words carefully, speaking in a hoarse whisper. Although not a religious person, he revealed to us that he'd recently begun to pray frequently. "What do you pray for?" I asked. "I don't pray for anything," he responded. "How would I know what to ask for?" he said. I found this surprising. Surely this dying man could think of some request. "A prayer is not for asking. What's it for?" I pushed him. "It isn't for anything," he said thoughtfully. "It mainly reveals and reminds me I am not alone." I've heard it reported in the news that many people are turning to prayer at this time of pandemic. Apparently, some people are praying for the first time or have recommenced after many years of apparently not praying. Doubtless, each with their own reasons for doing so, and each with their own understanding of what prayer means for them. The story I've just read to you does not disclose what expression of prayer the dying man engaged with, and to be frank, why should it? For many, prayers are essentially personal, private experiences. However, the story does reveal that the patient's prayers were not framed as requests, and perhaps we are as surprised as the writer is by this. Maybe that reveals more of our understanding of what prayer is than anything else. Sometimes I'm asked by others to be with them in prayer, and in this I try to remain curious as to what's arising in this request. Sometimes it's prefaced with the words, "I want to pray, but I don't know how," or "I'd like to express what I'm with as a prayer, but I don't know where to begin," or even, "My attempts to pray feel like rubbish." Often people feel hamstrung in their efforts to pray because they seek alignment with a particular expression of prayer. When I hear folks struggling in this way, I like to explore with them what it is that they think prayer to be. And in this, I often hear the following: that prayer ought to hold a particular form, that it should be styled in a particular way, that it should be held ritualistically, or be about something legitimate, or before something. And whilst prayer may comprise the above elements, sometimes for me, this doesn't represent all that prayer is or can be, not least in my world. To explain, let us pause for a moment and reflect to the time together we spend in community, to the words we share, to the gifts of song we bring, to our own singing, to the music beautifully played, to the contributions, the readings, and the personal sharings offered. All offered carefully, supportively, and lovingly. Each of us in connection, reaching out to each other. For some of us, maybe like the man in the story, with the intention to feel less alone in this strange world that we're experiencing at this time. Friends, for me, all of this is prayer. A friend of mine shared with me her understanding of prayer, and I'd like to share it with you. Quite simply, she describes prayer as anything that is held in love. Anything that is held in love. Friends, I feel we pray when we acknowledge and make ourselves available in the presence of love, in the everyday. When we choose hope over fear, generosity over meanness, peace over anxiety, connection over addiction. When we forgive others and ourselves. When we acknowledge our own light and see our being in the world as a blessing, not a curse. For me, in all these ways, we are making prayer. We are offering ourselves in prayer. Indeed, friends, we become prayer. How many times have you been referred to as the answer to someone's prayer? How many times have you allowed yourself a moment to bathe in a little well-deserved gratitude? Even, dare I say, self-gratitude. There is beauty in the written prayers many of us recant, in the rituals of meditation, sacred dance, and in other expressions that we ascribe as prayer-filled practices. But friends, if these things are held without love, they are mere words on a page, mouthed expressions, and performed mechanics. For the essence of prayer is not contained on paper, or in clasped hands, or in the aesthetics of ritual alone, but in authentic lived experience. Prayer lives in the heart. So as we embark upon the time ahead, let us give thought to prayer as the space within us, between us and around us, and that space is held in love. Thank you for listening.